Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. It's fantastic to have you with us today.
It really is, because today we're getting stuck into something pretty exciting, the kickoff of a British and Irish Lions year.
Exactly. The anticipation is massive, and we're zooming right in on their very first outing.
The match against Argentina Los Pumas over in Dublin at the Aviva.
Yeah, this isn't just any match. It's that first proper look at the squad playing together before they head off to Australia. It's our first real taste.
And we've got a specific source guiding us today, an article that's actually gone and predicted the starting Lions XV for that Pumas clash.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We're going to break down that prediction piece by piece.
Really get into the why behind each selection, based on what the source says.
And then try and figure out what this predicted team tells us about the Lions squad right now, just after that initial camp, with players still arriving from finals.
It's a snapshot, isn't it? Heavily influenced by who's actually fit, who's available, and crucially, who's had that training time already. The source really flags that context.
It absolutely does, and understanding that context is key. Look, this game comes right after the URC and Premiership finals. Huge, intense games.
Yeah, so Andy Farrell, the Lions coach, he's got this immediate challenge. He needs to blend the guys who've been in camp longer with those just off the back of massive seasons.
He might be carrying knocks, needing rest.
And the source is upfront about that. It talks about bare stocks in certain positions, situations where, because of availability right now, Farrell might have no choice.
Okay, so it's not just picking the best XV on paper, it's about who's ready to go now for this specific game.
Precisely. That frames the whole prediction.
Got it. Right, let's get into it then. Unpack this predicted team, position by position, using the source's logic. Starting at the back, number 15. The source predicts Marcus Smith.
Which is interesting. The source flags him as a potential dark horse there.
A dark horse, why is that?
Well, mainly because he's been training fully with the squad from the start. Others, like Hugo Keenan maybe, missed time or joined late.
Ah, okay, so it's that early availability again. Elliot Daly is mentioned as an option too, but predicted elsewhere.
Exactly. It suggests this pick is about who's ready this week, not necessarily the long-term #1 fullback.
Makes sense for the first hit out. Okay, wings then. Numbers 14 and 11. The prediction here is Tommy Freeman and Duhan van der Merwe.
Freeman at 14, the source links that directly to his really strong form, club and country recently.
Northampton and England, yeah. He's been flying.
Right. And the source suggests that gets him the nod over, say, Mac Hansen, who apparently hasn't played since mid-April. So recent game time is a factor.
Okay. And Van der Merwe on the other wing, number 11.
Yeah, another big name. The logic presented is that he actually gets game time because he missed Edinburgh's URC quarterfinal.
Ah, so he needs the minutes.
Seems to be the thinking. Even though Farrell is, as the source puts it, spoilt for choice out wide, managing Van der Merwe's return to play puts him in the frame for this one.
Fascinating. Player management driving selection right there. Let's move infield. The centers, 13 and 12, predicted Elliot Daly and Sione Tuipulotu.
Daly at 13, the source really emphasizes his versatility, being able to plug gaps.
Useful early on.
Especially now, yeah. With potential doubts around Gary Ringrose maybe needing managing after the URC final or Hugh Jones' fitness mentioned, Daly covering multiple spots is valuable.
So it's about squad needs as much as anything, and Tuipulotu at 12.
The source is quite clear here. It's about getting him crucial game time after an injury-hit season himself.
Right.
It mentions a straight shootout with Bundy Aki, but suggests Tuipulotu is more comfortable at 12, so he starts there. Aki perhaps providing impact from the bench. Again, managing individual needs.
It paints a real picture of juggling acts right from the start. Okay, halfbacks, 10 and 9. The source goes for a double Smith axis. Finn Smith and Alex Mitchell.
Yeah, Finn Smith at 10 is called the straightforward call. But crucially, the source adds, for this week.
Why just for this week?
Because Finn Russell, fresh off winning the Premiership, is likely unavailable or resting. And Marcus Smith, as we said, is predicted at 15.
Ah, okay.
So the big advantage highlighted for Finn Smith and Alex Mitchell is they're a settled combo from Northampton and England. That familiarity is seen as vital.
Yeah, in a backline that might have other new combinations, having 9 and 10 know each other inside out, that's huge.
Exactly. Plus, Gibson Park's late URC final withdrawal is noted, and Thomas Williams maybe hasn't had the full training time yet. It's about immediate cohesion.
Yeah, it's perfect sense tactically. Okay, the back row, numbers 8, 7, 6. The prediction is Ben Earl, Jack Morgan, and Tom Curry.
Earl at 8 seems driven partly by Jack Conan likely being unavailable after leading Leinster in the URC final. Earls played well there for England.
So he's the front runner for this game.
Seems so, according to the source. Then Jack Morgan, one of the Welsh contingent, predicted at 7, maybe ahead of the young prospect Henry Pollock for this start, with Vanderfleer also joining late from Leinster duty.
And Tom Curry at 6. That feels like a specific tactical choice.
It does, and the source links this to Argentina's lineout strength. Curry's been used as a jumper for England.
Okay.
So the source suggests this might be the coaches testing out a specific dynamic, effectively 3 open-side flankers together.
3 open sides.
Yep.
Burrell, Morgan, Curry. What would be the thinking there based on the source?
Well, the source hints at maybe focusing on breakdown speed, turnovers, multiple carriers. Curry at 6 offers that lineout option too.
So high tempo, maybe? Disruptive.
Potentially. It suggests they're exploring combinations, using the players available now, seeing how that dynamic works early on, possibly sacrificing some traditional blindside bulk for mobility and that lineout option.
Very interesting, testing things out right away.
Definitely purposeful strategic testing hinted at there.
Right. Into the type 5. Second row, 5 and 4. The source predicts Tadek Burney and Maro Itoje, with Itoje as captain.
Burney at 5. Well, his form has just been stunning, hasn't it, for Ireland and Munster.
Undeniable.
And the source points out other locks like McCarthy, Chesham, Ryan joined late from finals. So Byrne, Itoje, and Scott Cummings were the main locks training fully early on.
So Byrne's form plus availability makes him a strong contender, and Itoje at 4 and captain.
The source pretty much calls this a banker. Says it would be a shock if Itoje didn't start, given he's tour captain and one of the few fully integrated locks.
Makes sense.
Plus, the source mentions this could potentially be his 100th test cap, which adds another layer of significance to him starting this particular match.
Wow, yeah, 100th cap. That would be huge. Okay, finally, the front row. Tight head hooker, loose head. Numbers 3, 2, 1. The source predicts Finlay Bealham, Luke Cowan-Dickie, and Ellis Genge.
Tight head number 3. The source comes back hard to that theme of bare stocks. Yeah. Was Xander Fagerson withdrawn and maybe managing tag Furlong after a long season? Bealham, who replaced Fagerson in the squad, is seen as primed to start. Almost no choice over Will Stewart, who joined late.
So Bealham, the recent call-up, starts out of necessity.
That's how the source frames it. Immediate necessity.
Okay, and hooker. Luke Cowan-Dickie at 2.
This situation sounds even tighter, according to the source. It says Cowan-Dickie was the only out-and-out hooker fit and training fully in that initial camp phase.
The only one. Wow.
Yeah, which explains those temporary call-ups we saw. So the prediction is Cowan-Dickie starts, might even have to play the full 80, maybe backed up by Kelleher or Sheehan from the bench, who joined late.
That really highlights the impact of players joining at different times. Okay, and loosehead, number 1, Ellis Genge.
The source calls this a straight shootout between Genge and Pierre Schulman. Andrew Porter's considered unlikely after his big URC final.
So Genge gets the nod.
Predicted to start, yeah. With Schulman's versatility across the front row, making him a valuable bench cover.
Right, which leads us to the bench. The source names Kelleher, Showman, potentially Furlong or Stewart, depending on fitness, Scott Cummings, Henry Pollock, Thomas Williams, Bundyaki, and Mac Hansen.
And you can see the logic there too, can't you? Late arrivals needing minutes, specific ATAC players, versatile cover. It all seems to follow that pattern of managing the squad's current state.
It's absolutely fascinating. This predicted team really is a product of this moment managing fitness form who is in camp early, who just finished club rugby. That whole balancing act.
It really is. It shows the immediate puzzle Farrell has to solve, the options available right now, the reality of getting this squad humming quickly after such a long season.
And that's exactly why looking at this prediction is so valuable for you listening. It's that first proper clue about Farrell's immediate thinking. You know, how is he juggling these factors? Who gets that first chance to impress?
It's laying the foundation, isn't it? Even if some picks are driven by circumstance now, it's the start of the journey.
So, thinking about the reasoning from the source that we've just gone through, what do you make of it all? Any predictions that really jump out or surprise you, even with the explanations? Do you buy the logic presented? We'd genuinely love to hear your take. Getting those different perspectives is brilliant.
Definitely. Share your thoughts.
And speaking of staying connected, if you haven't already, now's a perfect time to hit subscribe on Rugby Obsession. That way you won't miss any of our deep dives throughout the Lions year and beyond.
So just thinking about this, this prediction feels heavily weighted towards those players who were fit and training earliest. What does this initial selection, driven partly by necessity, tell us about the Lions' immediate priorities for this first game? compared to maybe the ideal XV we might dream about seeing later against Australia when everyone's fully up to speed?
Ooh, that's a great question to chew on. The difference between the now team and the potential later team, that's the core challenge, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining us for this Rugby Obsession deep dive into that predicted Lions team for the Argentina game. The excitement is definitely building.
It sure is. And hopefully this has given a bit more insight into the complexities Farrell is dealing with right from the off.
Absolutely. And just one last reminder, please do subscribe to Rugby Obsession so you catch every deep dive we do.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we will look forward to you listening to our next episode.